General Relativity, founded by the great scientist Albert Einstein. How theory of relativity came into existence, special relativity, then general relativity. Special relativity was founded in 1905 and general relativity in 1915. That's why 2015 is celebrated centenary year of the general relativity. Now, how theory of relativity came into existence? Before Einstein, at the time of Newton, it was supposed that in the whole of the world, a medium ether is surrounded. Einstein discarded this idea that there is no such ether in this world. Every motion is relative, hence the name relativity. Motion relative to material body has meaning, and without material body it is meaningless. Now, credit goes to Michelson-Morley experiment. Michelson-Morley experiment was performed to find the velocity of light with respect to Earth. For this purpose, it was essential to find the velocity of Earth with respect to ether, because velocity of light with respect to ether was supposed to be a medium, not a chemical substance. Einstein discarded the idea that there is no such ether in this world. Every motion is relative and velocity of light is constant, which is independent of motion of source and observer. So he gave two postulates of a special theory of relativity. First postulate, laws of physics take the same form in all inertial frame. Inertial frame means the system in which particle moves with constant velocity. And the velocity of light is constant, which is independent of motion and source and observer. Okay? Now, Einstein, Einstein was one of the founder of modern physics. Einstein was born in Germany on March 14, 1879 in Germany. He was founder of special theory of relativity in 1905, created general theory of relativity in 1915. That's why we are celebrating centenary year of general relativity in 2015. He wrote a number of fundamental articles on quantum theory of light, introduced concept of photon, photoelectric effect, induced radiation. He was awarded Nobel Prize in 1921 for photoelectric effect, not for theory of relativity. Most of the students confused that he was awarded Nobel Prize for theory of relativity, but not. He was given Nobel Prize for photoelectric effect. For what is the photoelectric effect? Most of you are familiar with this one. When a light of slow frequency strikes the metallic surface, then photoelectron emits. This phenomenon is called photoelectric effect, and it's used in camera, television, etc. And since due to some the immediate effect of photoelectric effect, he was given Nobel Prize in 1951. Now, the failure of Michelson-Morley, how in this special relativity came into existence? Failure of Michelson-Morley experiment. It was supposed that light velocity is not constant, but it depends on motion of source and observer. Einstein discarded this idea that velocity of light is constant, which is independent of motion of source and observer. And this is the second postulate. And laws of physics take the same form in all inertial frame, which is moving. That is the particle, which is the system, which is moving with constant velocity relative to this. But special relativity failed to explain certain phenomena like bending of light rays, redshift, advance of perihelion of Mercury, etc. and radar delay. Advance of perihelion of Mercury, bending of light rays, that is, light doesn't move in straight line, but when it passes near the gravitational, strong gravitational field of the sun, then it bends. And redshift, that is when light coming from a star, if it bends to the red color of the spectrum, then it is called redshift. Due to this phenomena, it was supposed that universe is expanded. Now, these are the actually transformation. We apply transformation to give a mathematical representation to any physical thing. Now, Lorentz transformation is based on Einstein's theory of special relativity. There are two systems, S and S dash. S dash is moving relative to S with velocity v along x-axis. Then, in other systems, the expression are given by x dash is equal to x minus vt upon under 1 minus v square by c square, y dash y Z dash is equal to Z and T dash is equal to T minus Vx by C square upon under 1 minus V square by C square. Actually, there is, since we are considering the motion only along x axis, that's why there is no effect on y and z axis. That's why y dash is equal to y, z dash is equal to z, and time and position along x axis are given by this one. But special relative, now I want to come to general relativity, how general relativity came into existence, because certain phenomena like advance of Galileo Mercury, bending of light ray, gravitational field of sun, when light coming from a star and passes near the gravitational field of sun is bent, it doesn't move in straight line, it was proved by Einstein. Advance of perihelion nearest point, when the planet moves around the sun, then nearest point before its initial position. Although orbit is completed, but nearest point comes before its initial position. Ray shift, when light coming from a star and shifted toward the red color of the spectrum, then it is ray shifted, that is inverse is expanding. Ray shifting, that is inverse. The star is going away from us. Actually, how the inverse is hard and how Einstein applied the general theory of relativity, because certain phenomena could not be explained by special theory of relativity like that one, and then general theory actually special relativity deals with the system which moves with constant velocity. As soon as the system moves with accelerated velocity, then special theory of relativity failed and general theory of relativity came into existence. It was formulated in 1915, and after 100 years we are celebrating centenary year of general relativity. Actually, to formulate general relativity, credits go to two principles: principle of equivalence and principle of covariance. With the help of principle of covariance, equivalence, we use that accelerated system can be converted to gravitational force, as accelerated and gravitational system are equivalent and can be transformed to each other. How can you observe? You are going in lift. Suppose lift is going in downward direction. You feel momentarily lighter. As soon as lift goes in downward direction, you feel momentarily lighter. Why? Because inertial force is converted to gravitational force. Your weight is due to gravity. Suppose a lift is going in downward direction and total thrust experienced by your body will be given by mg. M, that is mass of the particle or person who is standing in the lift. M is mass, mg is weight. Mg, lift is going in downward direction. Mg minus r is equal to mf. Mf is inertial force. Then what is the total thrust? That is capital R. R is equal to mg minus mf. That's why mg is your weight and you feel momentarily lighter. How? Because this mf inertial force is converted into gravitational force. Because if you are subtracting b from a, then you find say that it is a minus b. But unless you convert, express b in terms of a, how can you find the value of this one? In the same way, mf is converted, inertial force is converted into gravitational force. That's why you feel momentarily lighter. If lift is going in upward direction, then equation of motion will be capital R is total thrust experienced by your body. R minus mg is equal to mf. So R is, that is total thrust is mg plus mf. Minus mg has been converted to right hand side, mg plus mf, and mf has been changed to gravitational force. That's why you feel momentarily heavier if the lift is going upward direction. But your friend who is outside of the lift, he will not feel, you will feel, because these phenomena occur in neighborhood. Okay? Principle of equivalence, this one. Einstein performed by his famous box experiment. Suppose box is on the earth, then the person in the box feels that every particle, every body has weight, and if a particle is allowed to fall, it falls in the same way, in the same acceleration, and a particle is projected horizontally to parabolic path. But same box, if it is allowed to fall in gravitational field, the effect of gravity disappears. It was performed by Einstein. That is, inertial force comes into existence. Okay? In this way, principle of equivalence says inertial and gravitational forces are equivalent and can be transformed into each other. And gravity is the weakest force, but it is prevalent. It has long range. and nuclear force is strong, but it has short range. Okay, so actually Einstein thought that if I could anyhow convert this one, yeah, diametrize, the gravitational force was diametrized, the gravitational potential was proved to be equivalent to magnetic tensor. With the help of this magnetic tensor, Einstein studied study of universe, study the universe. Actually, that is cosmology. Study of universe is known as cosmology. Okay. And now principle of general covariance, tensor. He used tensor, it is generally taught in mathematics in previous classes, MSc previous classes. And tensor means rigidity, connected with rigidity, no change. Why? What is the role of general covariance? Actually, so far as theory of relativity is concerned, this principle add nothing, but it tells what type of mathematical tool is to be used. Hence, what is the main purpose of tensor? The main purpose of tensor is to find the relation which remain valid in all coordinate system. They will take the same form in all coordinate system. Covariance can vary in the same way. Okay. So actually, since the field equation should take the same form in all coordinate system, obviously they should be tensor equation. Why it was named tensor? Because any law take the same form in all coordinate system. Doesn't change. Tensor means rigidity, no change. That's why it was named. And because tensor formula for general covariance, with the help of general covariance, Einstein used tensor to find his field equation. Now, how he actually obtained his field equation for the study of universe. That is known as cosmology. Cosmos plus logy. Cosmos is universe, logy is science. Science of universe is known as cosmology. How Einstein applied his field equation for the study of universe? What was the position of universe at that time? Accordingly, he proceeded. So now, Einstein field equation, in searching the field equation of gravitation, we are guided by the fact that Newtonian theory is an approximation. Whatever result you have obtained in special relativity, for low velocity you will find Newtonian result. Newtonian result is not, Newtonian theory is not wrong, but it requires modification. For low velocity, you can apply Newton theory, but high velocity is here. Actually, what was the contribution of Newton? He brought the science on the earth, and Einstein brought the science in space. Whenever you find the time, chance to go IUCAA, Inter-University Center for Astronomy and Astrophysics, then you will find that Newton is sitting under banyan tree, looking downward direction, and Einstein is looking upward. It means he has dealt the science for space, and Newton had dealt the science for earth. Okay. Now, how field equation was found, I will not take more time because I have been given around 30 minutes, and I have to speak all this. Poisson equation, in Newton theory, the field equation is governed by Poisson equation, del to V. V is gravitational potential, rho is matter, G is gravitational constant, matter density. That is why you know the gravitational potential. Actually, it was proved that for low velocity, weak field, slow motion, and static body, this gravitational potential V is equivalent to magnetic tensor. With the help of this magnetic tensor Gij, Einstein studied the inverse, which is ds is equal to Gij, dxi, dxa. The students of mathematics and physics, they might be familiar with this result. And now, since I want to prove it in tensor form, then we have to see the gravitational V is equivalent to Gij, then you have to see that tensor in which the second order derivative of Gij occurred. Riemann curvature tensor or the tensor which is obtained from Riemann curvature tensor, that is Ricci tensor, Rij, which is of second order, second rank tensor, and the rho, there is actually rho is the matter density. So we have to see that tensor in which this matter density occurred, the Minerji momentum tensor, rho plus P Vij Vj minus P Gij. Actually here it occurs. That's why the Einstein field equation becomes in this form. And since conservation of energy says that Tij is covariant derivative denses, Einstein tensor is that tensor which converts divergence denses. That's why these two are equivalent. In this way, Einstein obtained this field equation. Now, how he applied for the study of universe? Again, just evaporate. Now, Newton equation. Equation of motion in Newton theory is given by dqxi by dt square minus del v upon del xi, I is equal to 1 to 3, 1 and 3 dimension. In theory of relativity, space and time both are interconnected, being different phenomena. You can measure the distance by scale, but you cannot measure the time by scale. You can measure the time by clock, but you cannot measure the distance by clock. Okay? But they are, he brought space and time interconnected. And actually Newton says that both are different, those are same phenomena, but he could not actually interconnect. He could not get success to interconnect it. Einstein succeeded in this one, and in Einstein theory of relativity, equation of motion is given by geodesic equation. This is d2xi by ds square plus gamma ij dx by dx dx by dx. This is the main difference between Einstein and it. Now, how general relativity was applied for the study of inverse, that is cosmology. Cosmos plus logic. Cosmos means inverse, logic means vigyan, yeah, science, you may say. Here, actually, in cosmology, what do we do? We construct the model of this inverse and try to see to what extent this model resembles the actual inverse. We apply Einstein field equation. Now, at the time of Einstein, what was the position of inverse? Inverse was supposed to be static, isotropic and homogeneous at that time. Okay? Now, that was called static cosmological model, which is independent of time. Now, what are the positions of astronomical observation? Astronomical observation evidence pointed to homogeneity and isotropy of matter distribution in the law. Matter, of course, consisted of galaxies. You can say galaxies are considered on large scale as point particle. What was actually, if you want to know about the universe, as per astronomical, actually theory of relativity depends on astronomy. Whatever astronomical observation indicates, that is proved by Einstein field equation. But and actually in universe there are 10 to the power 11 galaxies. One galaxy contains 10 to the power 11 stars. Our universe is the part of one galaxy, that is called Milky Way. 9 planets are moving around the sun. Okay? And I think you are familiar with this one. And now you can say how star planets are kept intact, that is they do not fall, because they are kept intact due to their own force of attraction. Gravity, the property of gravity is to attract inwards and centrifugal force outward. In the body and the planet and star, when these two forces are equal, they are kept balanced. Otherwise, they will actually collapse. This is the main topic. Why stars and planets do not fall on each other? They are kept intact due to their own force of attraction. Gravity is equivalent to centrifugal force. Centrifugal force, outward force, or gravity, inward force. That's why they are kept intact. Okay? Now, isotropy. Iso means same, tropy means direction. By iso means it looks the same. The inverse looks the same in any direction. That's why he assumed that inverse is of spherical type. And homogeneity means pressure and density, equal distribution of matter. Pressure and density are constant. And matter, of course, and galaxies were considered as point particles. They are behaving like perfect fluid. The expression for perfect fluid, energy, momentum, tension is rho plus. Rho is matter density, P is isotropic pressure, Vi dxi by ds. That is the motion, or velocity indicates velocity, and Gi is magnetic tension. Okay? Now, he took spherical symmetric matrix in this part, and that is why static inverse. Static means time independent. When the inverse depends on time, then it is called non-static. So Einstein field equation for the given matter, if you calculate, you have to calculate Righi tensor and this one is energy momentum tensor, etc. Then you will find and apply Ti is equal to this. T11, T22, T33, V1, V2, V3 is 0 for static inverse. V4 is given by ds square equal to di dx by ds. Okay? this one. For the inverse containing perfect Einstein field equation lead to this equation. Now three cases arise how Einstein inverse was obtained. Rho plus P we knew that is equal to 0. Then three cases arise, nu dash 0, rho plus P 0, and both are 0. If you know x into y is 0, that is x is either x0 or y0 or both are 0. Then you can write the same formula I will use here, and Einstein equation was obtained in this one. I will not going to tell how the mathematical calculations, because it requires mathematical calculation to find out this one Einstein or this inverse, that is empty because rho plus P is 0. Rho density P is the isotropic pressure, and the flat inverse where Dij is constant, that is called flat inverse. This is called like this. This line element is also converted by using the transformation into expanding inverse, non-static. Although this line inverse is static line element, but using this transformation you can get this line inverse into this one. K is constant, and it is used for expanding the inverse. Next. Redshift, when light is coming from a star, then actually light is shifted towards red color of the spectrum. What is the importance of this one? That the inverse is expanding, not static. Static is fixed. Now, how Einstein realized that lambda is cosmological constant, and he realized that initial stage, when there actually the non-static model was constructed by Hubble and other scientists, then it was realized, Einstein realized that there was a blunder mistake by me by adding lambda, that is cancel constant. But later on, so many scientists came further and came forward and told that it was not blunder mistake, but it represents the vacuum energy density. I will tell you later on. Non-static cosmos. Non-static means time dependent. Your time depends on time. When Einstein derived the static cosmological model, the inverse was supposed to be static. However, the later works done by Hubble and Mason indicated that inverse is not static but expanding. Astronomical observation indicated that inverse is not static but non-static, that is time dependent, that is expanding. Also, redshift distance relation shows that inverse is expanding. The redshift calculated by this one, that is which is Hubble's law. Light from distant velocity systematically increase in its wavelength, and the fractional increase is called redshift. Fractional increase, suppose lambda is the wavelength, initial wavelength, and if it comes to the earth, to near the observer, its wavelength becomes lambda plus delta lambda. Then what will be increased? Delta lambda. The fractional increase is delta lambda by lambda. It is called redshift. And redshift is always proportional to distance. That is, star is going away. The galaxies are moving away from you. That's why you can say inverse is expanding. Now, Gaussian coordinate system. To find non-static models, we require certain models. That was used, and it was shown that inverse is expanding and non-static. Gaussian coordinate system, the global time coordinate for which x4 is equal to ct. x4 indicates distance, and c the velocity of light, t is the time. So that is distance equal velocity into time is distance. That's why it was written. And our Gaussian coordinate system, this is hypersurface x1, x2, x3, and that is filled with this one x4, that is called x3, and the metric was obtained like this, dp square plus d. And actually Robertson, Walker, these two scientists used the concept of this Gaussian coordinate system and obtained a metric. There Friedman said that the inverse is not static but it is expanding, that is time dependent, and he proved it one by one. Now, how Robertson Walker metric was defined? First, global time coordinate, Gaussian coordinate he used. Inverse is isotropic, look the same in all direction, and the three-dimensional spaces belonging to different constant values of t are equivalent. Okay, that is homogeneity oscillates. And using these three concepts, Robertson Walker matrix to this part like this. And by general transformation, it was proved. This one, for k is equal to 0, it represents blank space, this means in which Dij constant. For k is equal to -1, it represents open inverse, a k equal to 1 closed inverse. Okay. Now Fridman Robertson Walker. Actually, Fridman was a Russian scientist. He used Robertson Walker metric. That's why it was called Fridman Robertson Walker metric. And he obtained the inverse for dust field inverse. Dust, that is pressure is zero. Hard dust, that is pressure is zero. And Robertson Walker model was obtained only taking three spatial values of energy momentum tensor, spatial T11, T22, T50. These two are equated and he obtained the model Robertson. But Fridman discussed the model using pressure less dust, that is P is equal to zero. And he actually proved that there is no need of cosmological constant lambda into Einstein field equation. You have seen that Einstein field equation is given by Rij minus half Rgij plus lambda Gij is equal to minus 8 by Dij. Okay? He proved that for non-static, actually Einstein obtained the inverse for static model. He actually assumed that what was the condition of inverse at that time. He accordingly added lambda, the cosmological constant, to his field equation, but later on actually failed for expanding inverse. So actually Fridman actually obtained dust field inverse, in which there was no need to add lambda into Einstein field equation. But later on, Eddington, astronomer and cosmologist, Lemaitre, cosmologist, actually observed that if Einstein has added lambda into his field equation, there may be some importance. Why he added? And Gendovich, Russian physicist, came forward and he actually revived the issue of cosmological constant, that it is related with quantum fluctuations, and it represents, this lambda represents vacuum energy density, that is also called cosmological constant and vacuum energy density. And nowadays, actually in 2000, before 1998, it was supposed the inverse is expanding, but two groups led by Rees et al. And Parlimuter et al. They proved that inverse is not expanding, but it is also accelerating. And they were actually awarded Nobel Prize in 2011 for showing that inverse is accelerating also. This was due to the importance of this lambda, that was called cosmological constant, and later on it was told that it represents vacuum energy density. Okay? In this way, general relativity, how general relativity was used to find the study of the inverse by Einstein, and in this formula Harvey x4, 4 is equal to ct, x4 indicates distance, and c the velocity of light, t is the time. So that is distance equal velocity into time is distance. That's why it was written. And our Gaussian coordinate system, this is hypersurface x1, x2, x3, and that is filled with this one x4, that is called x3, and metric was obtained like this. This is called metric. And actually, Robertson Walker, these two scientists used the concept of this Gaussian coordinate system and obtained a metric. He actually there, Fridman said that the inverse is not static but it is expanding, that is time dependent, and he proved it one by one. Now, how Robertson Walker metric was defined? First, global time coordinate, Gaussian coordinate he used, inverse is isotropic, look the same in all direction, and the three-dimensional spaces belonging to different constant values of t are equivalent. Okay, that is homogeneity postulates. And using these three concepts, Robertson Walker matrix took this form, like this. And if you by general transformation, it was proved. This one, for k is equal to 0, it represents back space, this means in which Gij constant. For k is equal to -1, it represents open inverse, k is equal to 1 closed inverse. Okay. Now Fridman Robertson Walker. Actually, Fridman was a Russian scientist. He used Robertson Walker metric. That's why it was called Fridman Robertson Walker metric. And he obtained the inverse for dust field inverse. Dust, that is pressure is zero. Third that is pressure is zero, and Robertson-Walker model was obtained only taking three spatial value of energy momentum tensor, spatial T11, T22, T50. These two are equated, and he obtained the model Robertson. But Friedman discussed the model using pressure less thrust, that is P is equal to zero, and he actually proved that there is no need of cosmological constant lambda into Einstein field equation. You have seen that Einstein field equation is given by Rij minus half Rgij plus lambda Gij is equal to minus 8 by Tij. Okay? He proved that for non-static, actually Einstein obtained the inverse for static model. He actually assumed that what was the condition of inverse at that time. He accordingly added lambda, the cosmological constant, to his field equation, but later on actually failed for expanding inverse. So actually Friedman actually obtained just field inverse, in which there was no need to add lambda into Einstein field equation. But later on, Eddington, astronomer and cosmologist, Lemaitre, cosmologist, actually observed that if Einstein has added lambda into his field equation, there may be some importance. Why he added? And Gendovich, Russian physicist, came forward and he actually revived the issue of cosmological constant, that it is related with quantum fluctuations, and it represents, this lambda represents vacuum energy density, that is also called cosmological constant and vacuum energy density. And nowadays, actually in 2000, before 1998, it was supposed the inverse is expanding, but two groups led by Rees et al. And Parlementer et al., they proved that inverse is not expanding, but it is also accelerating. And they were actually awarded Nobel Prize in 2011 for showing that inverse is accelerating also. This was due to the importance of this lambda, that was called cosmological constant, and later on it was told that it represents vacuum energy density. Okay? In this way, general relativity, how general relativity was used to find the study of the inverse by Einstein.